Whoosh. Hey!
Hey!
We're talking about Kaiju number 8!
Yeah, the season just ended, season 1. So we're just sort of going to give our impressions of the first season of the show. We're going to not give any spoilers for the finale.
Yeah.
But do you just want to say right off the bat what you thought of the show?
Yeah, no, I loved it. I mean, it's funny. So this was, we did an early review, like the first 2 or 3 episodes earlier. And it's really cool when you watch an anime, especially an anticipated one, from a manga you haven't seen yet. And it's different than what you expected.
Yeah.
I definitely thought going in, I knew what this show was going to be.
Yeah, I think we both went into it thinking that it was going to be a little bit on the darker side. It was going to be trying to be a sort of successor to Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
And in some ways there are some similarities in themes and things like that. And obviously the fighting of big monsters,
Yeah.
But it was absolutely not like Attack on Titan in tone, in storytelling, in characters.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has that, shonen vibe of the fact that, it's really cool, the action's awesome, there's big stakes, there's emotional stuff, but there's also a lot of wacky humor.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff that, for me, always makes me sort of love anime, the most, is it can kind of have it all.
Yeah.
Where, some of the other, mediums, it's kind of harder to balance those things. And so, yeah.
I also think, in addition to the humor, I think it's great just the characters have such, good spirits, even though, there's a lot of, death and devastation happening around them. They still, they truly believe in what they're doing, and there's high spirits, which, unlike in Attack on Titan, where it was a whole lot of despair.
A lot of darkness,
yeah. But in this, it's a whole lot of people, really just trying to do their best to fight against these monsters and keeping high spirits about it.
Yeah, so let's kind of describe the show real quick. So basically this takes place in Japan in sort of this world where these monsters, these Godzilla type monsters called Kaiju, have basically been attacking for decades now. And it's gotten to the point where there is a special military group that specializes in fighting the Kaiju.
Yeah, the Japan Anti-Kaiju Defense Force.
Nice, yes. And basically we start off with our main character, Kafka, who's a guy who wants to be part of the Special Military Defense Force, but he keeps on failing the exam.
Yeah, he failed it 12 times in a row.
And so instead, he works in the cleanup crew. He's the guy that disassembles the giant monsters, after they die.
Yeah, it's sort of like in Pacific Rim, Ron Perlman's people when they came in.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, there's a lot. If you like Pacific Rim, this is a must-watch.
Yeah.
Because it is very much like it. And basically, he ends up in a situation where he saves this guy who's working with him and from a kaiju, and then basically gets the power of a kaiju at the end of the first episode.
Yeah.
So it's funny. It's got those elements of sort of My Hero Academia, when Deku showed selflessness and got All Might's power. It's got that sort of vibe to it. And so basically now, as the show continues, the main character becomes part of the force, but the whole thing, like a superhero story, he needs to keep it a secret that he's Kaiju number 8, because if anybody finds out in the Defense Force that he is Kaiju number 8, they're going to kill him.
Yeah.
And so it adds that certain layer of being really really cool, but also you're constantly worried about the character because he's got this double identity.
Yeah, and you also don't know how strong he is, whereas a ton of these, most of these monsters are gigantic, he's essentially human size, and he keeps on showing more and more powers and more abilities, but he doesn't, at first know anything. He doesn't understand his kaiju body.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand how to do anything, and he just sort of has to learn as he goes, and the body sort of learns for him in certain ways. But it's just so, it's interesting to watch, but like you said, that you feel the peril throughout, both because he doesn't know what he can do, and also he has to keep himself secret, or else, the people that he's fighting with will have to fight against him.
Yeah, it's really funny too. There's a whole new crop of anime that remind me so much of the basic premise of Naruto. This idea, because in Naruto, obviously he had the demon fox in him, and that gave him extra powers. And it's like, you know, in Jujutsu Kaisen, you know, there's like Itadori has Sukuna, and like in, you know, this, you know, he's got this kaiju or kaiju no Ray, whatever you want to call him, inside him. And I love that. I love that, like, you know, because we love Naruto, so it's always like, but that's kind of where, and there's also like that funny element that Naruto, it's actually, I think it's quite a bit like Naruto, even though it's not about ninjas.
Yeah, it's
like, it's basic, like, the feel, the vibe.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, you know, like there are characters that, you know, if you want to sort of compare it to Attack on Titan, you know, you've got a character that's like Mikasa, the Mina character is kind of like,
totally.
And then her second is actually kind of like Levi, and you know, so you've got these characters that you can associate, but again, instead of this sort of more despair sort of attitude, they're all like really upbeat.
And it's got like a fun team element to it, yeah. Not quite One Piece, but it's like it feels good. Like everyone's working together, and and
it's also just really interesting that the main character, you know, like we said, he had failed the test so many times, and he essentially had aged out, but they raised the age limit.
Yeah.
And so he's an older character. You know, he's not an old man, but he's like, he's compared to everyone else, he's in his
early 30s, which is like so. I remember the first time I was like. This is the main character of like shonen anime, of like a big anime, like, because generally speaking, they're usually like 15 or 16 or, you know, a kid, and so it's like a really surprising. I know there's a few other ones like that, but in general, it's always surprising.
Well, especially not an action anime. No. You don't like you know, you're right. There are definitely ones that have older characters as the main character, but they tend to be more slice of life ones.
Yeah, well, especially like ones that, like, you know, usually the older character is not an underdog.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, like, you know, it depends. Like Spy Family, I don't even know. Like all three of them are the main characters. Obviously, Anya's a little kid, but like, you know, it's like the two adults are like actual real adults. You know, they're probably in their like late 20s or something, early 30s, and so the main sort of underdog Naruto like character being 30 is like very different.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I really love. You know, because even like you know, One Punch Man, I would assume Saitama is like in his like early to mid 20s. And there is like elements of One Punch Man in this, but it's definitely a little more serious.
A little bit. Yeah, no,
it falls in the middle between One Punch Man and Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
but it's like you said, it's got the kind of feel of Naruto, you know, a totally different category of type of show, but it's the same sort of feel where it can do serious, but most of the time it's like it can lean very much into the goofy as well, and it merges those together perfectly. It's like, you know, they don't let it get too serious when they need to. They throw in like comedic elements, and it flows really well.
I love it too. You know, I love this stuff that the way they've sort of adapted this idea of like kaiju fighting too. Like I think one of the really coolest things about the show is that the special division people, they have armor and weapons made from the skin and bodies of the kaiju they kill. And so they have this whole thing about like, you know, the most powerful people are the ones that can unlock a certain power percentage in their suit. And so that I think that's like really interesting. Like there's certain elements of it that are very they're just very cool. Yeah. And they're very interesting, and I love that.
I also, you know, I like that there's different kinds of kaiju, and that's one of the other great things about Kafka, that he knows, because he was part of the disposal unit, he knows all about these kaiju, and so he's, even when he's not great at fighting, even like when he's not using his kaiju powers, and he's able to help out the team by being like, oh, you know, aim for this on this guy, the core is over there, make sure to get the reproductive organs or whatever, like.
Yeah, no, totally. You know, it's funny. I feel like there's elements of the first season of JJK, of Jujutsu Kaisen, in this. It's hard now for me to separate the first season from the second season of Jujutsu Kaisen, because JJK season 2 is so dark. Like, they went practically full Attack on Titan in season 2. That, like, that's how I think of the show. Yeah. But then you look back, and season 1 was, like, kind of a lot of fun.
You're right.
You know, there was a lot of, like, cutesy, especially all the, like, Gojo stuff, and all those little, like, they would have chibi moments, and they would have, like, all the stuff with, Tojo.
Yeah, and Itadori had lots of goofy moments.
Yeah, and he was like, yeah, and like so it's like that Megan Thee Stallion song, right? I prefer girls with so there was so that's it. I feel like there's like some mix between like Naruto and JJK season 1. I think is kind of the feel of this, but definitely. But I also hope it doesn't. I think the arc of season 1 is really great, and I also love like the kind of like the group of people that you need to like to rise up in to destroy the evil, which is like such a big thing in anime. I mean, Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, Fullmetal Alchemist, they all have that idea. It's got that too. I really hope though, like, and this isn't getting anything away, but like, I feel like season 1 really was consistent.
Yes.
And it felt like really good. Very little felt like it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. And every episode felt strong.
Yeah, really strong. And like, it was a tight 12 episodes. Mm-hmm. And I think like, that's exactly what you want to do. Like, there was nothing, no time was wasted.
Yeah.
But I do feel like kind of like, I hope season 2 retains the feel of season 1.
I agree.
I don't want them to get dark like Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, like obviously there's gonna be like some like dark moments, but it needs to keep the goofiness, like because part of it is that Kafka needs to like be as human as he can, and so he needs to retain that, and the people around him need to help him retain that.
Well, I think like Naruto, once again, I'm just going to go back to Naruto had a lot of very dark anime moments,
absolutely.
But I don't think of it as a fundamentally dark anime.
No, not at all.
I think you can really have it both ways.
Yeah.
But whereby like Attack on Titan is literally a show about genocide, so you can't. There's no way for it not to feel as dark as it does.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I loved it. I mean,
I think as a whole, I recommend Kaiju number 8 so strongly. Complete side note, it's also one of those opening credit songs that we don't skip any. Ever.
Yeah.
It's like Mashal season 2.
Yeah.
Mashal
season
really 2,
good.
Kaiju number 8. Yeah, we watch it every time all the way through.
No,
so.
it's a good song.
Yeah.
I loved it. So anyway, that was it. We wanted to do a spoiler free in case you guys haven't started it. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, but the it ended in a very satisfactory way. Like I think we were both happy with the season finale.
For sure. It was really good.
We're looking forward to whatever they do in season 2.
Yeah.
And highly recommend.
All right, cool. And at some point we need to do a kind of a wrap up of, we've seen a lot of the 2024 new anime.
We're only halfway through the year.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But we'll have to watch it. But yeah, let us know if you guys are watching Kaiju number 8, if you like it. Also, let us know what 2024 anime you've liked so far.
Yeah.
We just finished Apothecary Diaries.
So good.
We love that. We watched Solo Leveling, Delicious in Dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen a lot of really good stuff this year.
For sure.
So, but anyway, let us know in the comments down below, and talk to you later. Bye.